Hello and welcome to today's cinema show. We're starting with a film that won the World Cinema Audience Award for Drama at the Sundance Film Festival. Girls Will Be Girls tells the story of 16-year-old Mira, the first ever female student to be named head prefect at her elite co-ed boarding school in the Himalayas.
Assembly.
Sorry.
Stop, done.
As a student of my school, I pledge to honor our age-old Indian culture and live according to it.
This is the correct length. Uniforms to your knees.
Now, Mira's strict education risks being thrown off by her budding relationship with a new male student, Shri. Things get complicated when her mother, who's in town to make sure that Mira stays focused on her exams, inserts herself into their relationship. Well, to talk about Girls Will Be Girls, I'm joined by our film critic, Lisa Nesselson. Lisa, hello. And we're excited to welcome the film's director, Shuchi Talati. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm delighted to be here.
Now, Shuchi, this is your first feature-length film. It's been described as essentially being about a love triangle between a mother, a daughter, and then the daughter's love interest. Is that how you think of it, and what was the idea behind it?
Well, I think of it a little bit differently. The idea behind it was, I started writing from a place of rebellion and anger because I went to a school that was much like the school in this film, very strict. So as soon as I became a teenager, and there was so much shame around bodies and sexuality. That skirt is too short, that top is too tight. Why are you bending over that desk like that? And so much so that when I had a boyfriend, I didn't tell my best friend because I thought I would be judged. So I wanted to write a story of sexual awakening set against this backdrop, but without the shame. The storytelling really treats the sexuality something mundane, celebrates it. So that was one part. And then the second part is the mom in this film, who is a young mom, So she is trying to give her daughter the freedoms that she didn't have. And yet she feels envious, and sad for the youth that she didn't get to have. So to me, this film is a story about two generations of women both trying to push against the boundaries that society tries to put them in.
Yeah, it is. It's a really subtle film. Lisa, you and I both saw it. Can you tell us what was your experience?
Well, it's definitely thought-provoking, and it made me really, really glad that I am no longer an adolescent anywhere on earth. One major theme, as you said, is how mothers and daughters interact. The pace of working on that is very gradual and carefully observed, with beautifully rendered tension, which makes some otherwise unusual developments absolutely believable.
All right, well, let's give everyone a closer look at those complex relationships in Girls Will Be Girls.
She's doing all this just for you. She's trying so hard to be a good mom.
You seem to know a lot about her. As a student of my school, I pledge to honor.
Don't you think it's weird? Tell me the truth. No bullshit.
Now, Shuchi, this is a coming-of-age film. As you said, it came from a place of sort of thinking about your own adolescence. It is a universally awkward and difficult experience, but it is impacted by cultural context. And you mentioned it a little bit, but can you talk more about sort of some of the pressures that Mira specifically is dealing with in the cultural context where she lives in this boarding school in India?
Yeah, so as the first head prefect of the school, which means is she's put in charge of enforcing the school rules. So she has to police her fellow classmates and talk to them about not wearing nail polish and their socks not being high enough, which is really an impossible situation for a young teenage girl who is also feeling the stirrings of this first romance and desire. So there's that. So there's also the boys in school who don't accept a girl to be put in this position of authority and try to undermine her. And part of the storytelling is also to discover how fragile her authority is, as the first person to hold this role.
Tani Kasruti, who plays the mother in your film, is a co-star in All We Imagine Is Light, the first Indian film in competition in Cannes in 3 decades. It won the Grand Prix there. How did she join your cast?
Kani is magnificent, and I'm so excited that she's having the year she's having. I have been a fan of her work for a long time. She is very special. So she was always on the list of actors that I wanted to reach out to. And I brought it up to our casting director, Dilip Shankar, who's amazing. He cast Mira Nair's Monsoon Wedding and all these great films right at the beginning. And we brought the film, we brought the film to Kenny. She sent in an audition tape, which I was obsessed by because it was the first time she meets the boy. And I remember watching just the audition tape and feeling so anxious because she had this live wire quality where you felt you didn't know if she was going to smile, if she was going to snap. And that really makes you kind of, sit at the edge of your seat and lean in. And I thought that was an essential quality for the mom in this film. And as soon as she read the script, her first response was actually, I don't understand this character. I'm really, my life experience is really far from this. Why do you want me to play it? And I convinced her, and I'm so glad that she joined the team.
Very quickly, your film is an India-France co-production, and you received a grant from a program here in France administered partially by the government that helps international productions. That's exactly the kind of funding that the extreme far right believes should not exist. If Marine Le Pen, she's said that she thinks that French movies should be about French subjects. Could you talk about what was it important to have French support to get your film made?
Oh my God, it was essential. Actually, the first funding that came for our film was from France. So it was CNC's Et du Cinéma du Monde. Then we had funding from Ile-de-France and also from Arte Cofinova. So without this, the thing is, there are many parts of the world, India and the US where I live, where filmmaking is really, it's a commercial thing. The only metric by which a film can get funded is whether or not it will recoup, And that's not the way we can make cultural products because art, films, they have the role not just to make money, but really to change our culture, to bring new narratives, So this is essential work, and I'm really grateful for the support. We did the entire post-production in France and worked with amazing French technicians.
Shuchi, stay with us because we're going to move on now to our next film, which made a splash at its premiere in Cannes. Being Maria by French director Jessica Palud follows the life of French actress Maria Schneider. It's centered around the fallout from appearing in the 1972 film Last Tango in Paris, which poisoned her life. It is the latest film in France to re-examine well-known narratives with a Me Too lens. Let's take a look.
Vous avez quel âge, Maria?
19.
En le lisant, vous avez dû voir que vous y étiez souvenu. Ça vous dérange?
Non. Enfin, ça dépend comment. C'est surtout les scènes d'amour. Qu'est-ce qu'il faudra faire?
Comme dans la vie. Je plaisante. Vous en faites pas.
Being Maria depicts Schneider's life from rocky adolescence to the years after her abrupt fame was too much to handle because of the way society reacted. Anna Maria Voltolomai is outstanding as an untrained actress thrown into a starring role in a landmark film. I saw Last Tango when it first came out, and it was earth-shaking. Girls everywhere wanted to be Schneider because her character, Jeanne, was so self-possessed and freewheeling and cool.
And Lisa, even people who've never seen Last Tango in Paris may have heard about the so-called infamous butter scene in which Marlon Brando's character sodomizes Maria Schneider's character using butter as a lubricant. Now, it left the actress traumatized because she didn't actually know about that scene in advance, and it is painstakingly recreated in this new film.
For the record, Schneider herself clarified that there wasn't a rape while making that notorious scene, but she felt betrayed by the two men she she had trusted, director Bernardo Bertolucci, and Marlon Brando, terrifically played here by Matt Dillon. While Schneider had agreed to simulated sex acts, the butter scene was sprung on her and improvised, and the cavalier disregard for her feelings is what Being Maria addresses, rather convincingly and with sensitivity from Maria's point of view. What is worth knowing is that Maria Schneider, as I said, was an untrained actress, but she held her own on screen opposite Marlon Brando, and 3 years later in Antonioni's The Passenger, opposite Jack Nicholson. And that is an impressive and honorable legacy.
All right, well, Being Maria sounds interesting to check out for her perspective. Finally, we're going to end with the 13th edition of the Champs-Élysées Film Festival. It's being held in its title location, the Champs-Élysées, through June 25th. Lisa, tell us more.
Well, this is a splendidly programmed and very affordable event for the general public dedicated to showing independent films from the USA and from France. The Champs-Élysées once had 33 movie screens, and it was the place to go to see a film. People go to different parts of town now, but there are still 7 excellent screens, especially the Publicis in the shadow of the Arc de Triomphe. Over 80 films are being shown. Masterclasses this year spotlight musician and filmmaker Vincent Delerme and American filmmaker and installation artist Elizabeth Soubrun. Fresh from Cannes is the American indie It Doesn't Matter, which covers the adventures of a charismatic black Brooklynite born in Honduras as he sends video reports to his white Jewish buddy over the course of 7 years from all over the U.S. It's scripted, but really feels like an intimate documentary, and I really liked the animated interludes.
All right, well, we will end with a look at a selection of films from the Champs-Élysées Film Festival. Lisa, thank you so much as always. Shuchi Talati, thank you again so much for joining us today. Her film, Girls Will Be Girls, has been picked up for theatrical distribution in North America. Wherever you are in the world, do keep an eye out for its release. And for more culture, you can always head to our website. News is coming up on France 24 right after this.
C'est moi qui ai écrit comme ça?
La cara, arráncatela con la doma. No, el ego bien fuerte.